Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the European Sustainability Conference 2024. My name's Adam. I'm from Ireland, currently in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and I'm the founder of Startup Network Europe. So we've hosted 211 events in 3 years now. The European Startup Conference, European FinTech Conference, European AI Conference, and we're doing more and more sustainability events like the Swiss Sustainable Future Summit, which happens next week in Zurich, and of course today's event. We also have WhatsApp communities such as Sustainability Leaders Network Europe, which we've just launched, and this is for chiefs, VPs, heads, and directors of sustainability in Europe. So we'll share the application form for that soon. But yeah, today we have a great webinar ahead. And Justus, if you'd like to speak a bit about the University of St. Gallen.
Thank you so much, Adam. My name is Justus. I'm the managing director of the Center of Social Innovation here at the University of St. Gallen in Switzerland. And it's already the second time that we jointly do this European Sustainability Conference. And it's a meeting, a real meeting for sustainability leaders and managers from Europe. Maybe just one word, what we are doing here at the university in terms of sustainability. On the one hand, we are really driving high-class research in the field of sustainability, social innovation, and sustainable business. But on the other hand, and this is really what I like to highlight, we make this knowledge available for organizations, for you, for persons, and we really work with the practice together. And this is, I think, one USP of our competence center. And now I really wish you a happy, great hour full of insights, inspirations, and I hand over back to Adam.
Yeah, cheers, Justus. Thank you very much. It'll be a great event. So, folks, we only have 1 hour of content, and it's a lot of content in 1 hour. So, we will begin with Dr. Fabian Takas from the University of St. Gallen. He'll give a presentation. After that, we have a panel discussion moderated by Monica from University of St. Gallen, and our panelists will be Andreas, VP Sustainability at Vianode, Nicole, former Head of People Sustainability at Nordea, Victoria, Chief of Sustainability and Strategic Engagement at Epicenter Group of Companies, and Aline is Chief Sustainability Officer and Chair of the ESG Board at CISA. And all of these speakers, as you can see, are European leaders in sustainability, often with several titles in big companies and organizations. So it's really an honor to have them all here. So we will have this very soon, this panel, and then after that, the last 10 minutes, we will hear from Michael about programs at the University of St. Gallen for sustainability. So thank you very much. I think we will go back here. Fabian, I will leave the next 10 minutes to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adam. Nice to see everybody. Let's start screen sharing over here. So I hope you can see it right now in presenter mode.
Yeah, all good.
Let's go for that. Does this work for you guys?
Yeah, all good.
Perfect. So let's go. Hi, everybody from Central Switzerland. We'll quickly talk about circular economy. If you have any questions or further ideas or so, do not hesitate connecting with me. I normally answer emails within 5 weeks. So it's a busy time right now, but we will get in contact soon. Also, some hyperlinks or QR codes for our book. But I do some more advertising at the end. Okay. So when we're talking about circular economy or sustainability transformation in general, we're talking about this kind of dilemma between the first and the second S curve. So the question, how can we as an organization transform from a quite incremental sustainability improvements like efficiency improvements or some detox here, solar panels over there, to a quite more radical one? So changing to circular business models, ecosystem, or kind of transforming a whole industries in its core. And this is the core challenge coming from this kind of normal where we are driven by standard KPIs and business cases to a more moonshot logic where we do not know in which direction it goes. And this is where our research tries to focus on, yes. So We try to summarize that in a kind of integrative view and integrate that kind of strong sustainability into the business model logic. And we define business models as kind of 4 dimension, coming from the who do we address? I mean, this is clear for you all. You deal a lot with your customers. So we have the what on the top. What is the value proposition? What do we offer our customers? The how is more the value creation, how is value created? And on the other side, how do we capture that value with revenue models or monetization strategies? And we put that together in our research for sure with the 3 dimension of the integrated triple bottom line: impact on people, impact on planet, and on profit or prosperity, if you take it a little bit more holistic. And so to say, the idea is to really look at the 4 dimensions and their impacts, as you see, on the 3 dimension. What is really important over here, to make it quite quick, I thought I have about 15 minutes, but Adam, if you like, I also can do it in 10 minutes. I speak a little bit faster, if you don't mind. When we bring it together, the value creation and the value capture logic, it is really important to understand that value creation in the pure economic sense is to speak about the size of the cake. How much do we create as a company, as a circular ecosystem, as economic value, as a catalyst somehow of human activity? And the value capturing is more a question of how can we capture that value as a company or as an ecosystem. And this is the crucial part, and would be a working hypothesis from my side into the panel afterwards, is this question, or the hypothesis would be that we didn't manage yet as companies or industries to proper value capturing our advantages of circular economy and others. So if we be more circular, if we perform more circular in like circular design or reverse logistics systems and so on, it's really important that we really get the value back we created and put it into a circular ecosystem in advance. So the question of the value capture and how fragmented is the value capture, and this is some kind of what we define as the linear economic system, which is really fragmented, some kind of efficiency or like 100 years of Taylor Ford logic of fragmentation, left us with some kind of a really granular way of looking at value capturing, and this is some kind of barrier when it comes to going on the second S curve. Yes. So if I bring it together and taking the value creation on this kind of linear logic here, and we having price and costs here, this is normally how a company is looking at the market from their side. So we have somewhere the willingness to pay. Normally companies try to push this price as close as possible to the willingness to pay. Like Patagonia tries to increase the willingness to pay, to experience selling somehow their value proposition. So the bias share is the difference between the price and the willingness to pay for sure. And the firm share, the value capturing for the firm, is the difference between price and cost. Somewhere we have opportunity costs like supplier share. And what we in circular economy try is to align this kind of shares and try, and this is the normal way of we proceeded. Also, when we're talking about sustainable marketing, we try to increase willingness to pay, but we also have to think about the difference between the price and the costs, and also how can we like overcome this fragmentation in between. Okay, to bring it together from a material perspective, you know, all linear economy, it's not only the problem of linearity of creating some kind of waste at the end, but also externalities, and that the use phase getting shorter and shorter. We call it planned obsolescence, technical obsolescence, fashion obsolescence, and so on. And the circular economy, to make it really quick, the idea, inflow and outflow reduce, so take and dispose and try at good as possible to keep the resources running. And if we bring that now together with what I showed you before with the triangle of the business model logic, in the end, we see that in a circular ecosystem, in a circular value creation logic, we see that there are different business models aligned to a design, to a proper design, which allows for a refurbishment, for a recycling or a repair or whatever R strategy you prefer. So there is not one circular business model. This is really crucial to understand. It's an interaction of business models. And this interaction is somehow must be orchestrated in the end. And this is where we see that most companies are failing, is to do this work together and overcome, as I said before, this fragmentation of industries. So we put that all in a framework. We published that in Harvard Business Review some years ago, and this is the advertising here. We also publish it in a book, The Circular Economy Navigator. It will be first only in German, so sorry, guys, coming from an English background. It will be in English somewhere at the end of the year, but first in German. And what we try is summarize the possibilities for such an ecosystem through 4 categories. First of all, you have to close the loop. This is clear. We can talk about product reuse, secondhand, part reuse, refurbishment, remanufacturing. We can also talk about recycling. This is crucial. The design, also about bio-based material. As we know from urban mining or so, we talk about waste as input and how to get the resources back, reverse logistics. Second, we have to improve the loop. Therefore, we normally talk in research about narrowing the loop and slowing the loop. We talk about increased longevity, warranties, loyalties, customer interaction there, maintenance, predictive maintenance, repair services. Also, smart asset could be an option, not for pens. This would be stupid. It's more into like heavy asset industry, construction, or home appliance or something like this. Eco-efficiency, dematerialization. I think this is clear. I jump a little bit over it. So we can talk about localization, proximity, shorter supply chains, detox, energy recovery, or virtualization. So substitute some kind of materials with virtual value propositions. Third option, or let's say third category, key category, is how can we overcome in some industry the problem of a transactional model. So as you know, if you sell, your whole revenue model is really depending on selling products, it makes it really transactional. And the problem, if it's really transactional, if everybody has a washing machine, then you have to start to do marketing and say people why they need now a pink washing machine, or integrate some planned obsolescence or technical obsolescence. And there are some interesting, let's call it revenue models, to overcome this planned obsolescence problem, but also overcome the incentive structure behind ownership. So we talk about pay-per-use. It's input-oriented. We can also talk about like a period-oriented model. It's more the rent instead of buy model or leasing model. It really depends on the product. We can talk about performance-based contracting, where we evaluate the performance rather the inputs or time. Subscription is another idea. Fractionalized ownership, really old pattern. People use it for centuries, that they share some kind of ownerships over assets. Dynamic pricing is another one. Revenue sharing, crowd public funding. As you can imagine, like in Europe, there is a lot of money available for projects, like trying to jump from the first to the second S curve. Incentivized take back, as we know it from packaging systems, or licensing your technology and your idea to make some kind of not an organizational scale, but more on a technology or idea scale. Yes. Still, selling is a good option for pens, I guess, where a performance-based model is probably be stupid again, but we have a lot of opportunities over here. So having a closed on time, I think 5 more minutes, if that's fine, or 4, Justus. You show me your
Fabian, take your time. You're okay. All good. Thank you.
I mean, you're 10 minutes. Quite a bit.
No, 15 minutes is fine. I think I said that by mistake.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry.
Thank you, Adam. And fourth category, excite the loop. It's more about the interaction with customers. How can we excite circular economy? How can we excite also involving people in higher R strategies? Because this is key. How can we excite people performing a repair, performing some kind of a sharing economy? Yes. So we're talking about solution provider. You know, the Philips Signify example, where they sell light instead of kind of the infrastructure, and they provide some kind of a solution to customers, where the customer only buy the light and not all everything around. We can also talk about experience selling with the Patagonia example, try to increase the willingness to pay through the experience, through the mission statement, and also your activity as a company. Marketplace is more the platform idea of bringing peer-to-peer interaction or also customer and company interaction. Prosumer is a really well-known also in textiles, where we try to like internalize consumer behaviors towards our strategies like repair, integrating them into the value creation process, and therefore increasing the value capturing for all involved in the ecosystem. Signaling transparency, really interesting. It's really highlighting the opportunities for the people and also for the ecosystem through some kind of technology, but also through behavior incentives. And sharing, I think, should be clear. So we have 40 patterns, and they are based on literature, but also on what we found. And as I highlighted before, in the book, you find persons already performing this in some sense. And to bring that together, and you know the interface example, we heard it often, but it's really interesting to visualize. So to bring that all together, what I showed you before, we have this kind of patterns, and we can arrange these patterns in the circular ecosystem and value creation logic. So we're talking about different materials. In case of interface, Aquafil, they performed with different waste as input patterns, producing the yarn. Eco-efficiency, they use new technology in ultrasonic cutting technology to reduce the pre-consumer waste. Leasing model or rent model in B2B, in customer interaction for the carpets, through the new design with piles and not like gluing everything in, they can use proper repair and maintenance strategies and recycling in the end. So this is how we bring it together, and we can show that for like all the company examples. Alping, you probably know, with modular and easy recyclable mattresses, where we also see this logic behind. To give you a little bit a feeling, different companies, this is VauxHoch's beautiful Swiss company, the home appliance, performing beautiful repair services, but also interacting in an ecosystem to drive this smart asset logic. And what is also interesting here to share with you, they decided about 6 years ago to having a kind of a internal CO2 fund, where they sacrifice some kind of profit and put that profit into a fund to put that onto like innovation projects in sustainability. So they put like 120 francs, euros in this fund per ton of CO2 they're emitting, like virtually, and use that for innovation projects, also pushing circular economy and others, and we closely work together with them. It's a really interesting example. Predictive maintenance in Siemens as an example of how can you arrange in infrastructure this pattern of repair and maintenance. Freitag bags as a part use example, using Targ drops into a new products, repurposing some kind of the material, also working in an ecosystem. They now talking about the circular tarp truck, where they created from scratch new monomaterial, implementing them with the lorry companies and using that in the end as a raw material. So Philips, I already mentioned, and this to close the session. If you're interested, scan the code. The book is coming, as I said, in spring. We implemented a lot of different interesting deep dives, as from Maya Göpel in Germany, Manuel Brauner, Stefan Erhard also. They're having beautiful books about the topic, and we're showing a navigator method in 8 steps, how you can go step by step through the journey of circular business model innovation. And that to say, thank you very much for your attendance, and I wish you a beautiful rest of the morning, and hand over to Adam or Monica. It depends.
Yes, Fabian, I guess we can start with me. Thank you very much for the presentation. Monica, you're up next. You're obviously the moderator of our panel, so feel free to introduce yourself. Guys, I've just done a poll asking where everybody is from. We'll also ask what kind of job titles you have later, so it'll be really cool to see what kind of people are here. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Fabian, for this insightful introduction. My name is Monica Barroso. I'm co-head of the Competence Center for Social Innovation at the University of St. Gallen. I'm very pleased and honored to moderate this session with incredible panelists from different industries. And that's so without much further ado, I would like to start inviting Andreas Fortfang to share his initial insights. Are you there, Andreas?
I am.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
So
Can you hear me?
welcome. Yes, all good. Thank you so much for joining us today. Andreas, you are a Vice President Sustainability and ESG at Vianode, an advanced battery materials company providing sustainable solutions for the battery and EV value chains in North America and Europe. Would be great to hear your thoughts and insights and learnings about limits. What are the limits of technological innovation in advancing sustainability goals, which are broad and complex goals? And how, in your experience, can tech companies address or overcome these limits through their strategies, through their business models?
Yeah, the simple answer is that the limit is economics. So it's very often when you're doing innovation, of course, innovation has a cost. For Vianode, specifically, as you mentioned, we are in batteries, which itself is a fairly new technology. But the problem is that batteries, they have battery production has a fairly high greenhouse gas emissions today. And a lot of that is related to the anode side of the battery. So Vianode is scaling up a new technology that significantly reduces those emissions. And that means that we have huge development costs, and we need to build new supply chains for this new sustainable technology, and we don't have economies of scale, so we're not at that optimization stage yet. So for us, it's critical to combine the sustainability aspect with the economics aspects, and in our case, that's being more resource efficient, so using less energy, using less material, and thereby reducing the footprint. And also investing in recycling, as we just heard a lot about, as we'll further lower our processing costs down. Of course, we don't have any revenue, so we are always looking for financing. And I, as a sustainability professional, I always want to do more, of course. I don't want to be just a climate solution. I want to be a leader in battery materials when it comes to sustainability. And so I find myself constantly arguing for why sustainability creates value. And that's not always so easy. And especially when you're talking to investors and so on. But I think there are arguments, and for us, those are that it will create commercial value, it will attract more customers, and it will create or attract better customers. And in the battery field, we're not there where it doesn't capture a higher price for our products yet, but maybe in the future it will. And then when it comes to financing, we believe that being a sustainability leader will attract more investors, more banks, and also more public funding opportunities, and thereby lowering the cost of capital. And the third is that we are going to recruit a lot of people as a startup or as a scale-up. And with a sustainability brand, we will be able to recruit more and better people. And the final argument that I often use is that since we are building factories, and we want to build them in the best places with the best and cleanest energy and the best infrastructure, and to get access to those places, only the best projects do get access to them, and not everyone does. So I think that's our approach. That's what I do a lot of the time, and that's how we tackle the limitations of economics.
Thanks, Andreas. I could hear a bit of a short-term versus long-term dilemma in your reflection, because you're aiming for a long-term result, becoming a leader in the industry, but at the same time you have short-term goals and challenges and maybe bills to pay and investors to find. How are you coping with this short and long-term dilemma from a leader's perspective?
Yeah, oh, it's I think a lot is again about being conscious about the value that those short-term efforts create, because we have to make very tough priorities. But again, I think that it is value in doing investing in sustainability in the short term for us, and that means doing all the little things, walking the talk, investing in compliance, in reporting, and being good at that, because that enables further value creation in sustainability. And so that's the focus, and I think it's very, very important to align what you do on sustainability with the company goals overall. And that's not always so easy, and sometimes you get a bit ahead of yourself, maybe. And I think for Vianode, of course, we, as a climate solution company, we don't just need a net zero transition plan. We also need an acceleration plan. So we help reaching the targets of the Paris Agreement. The bigger we get, that's good. So aligning our sustainability targets with our scale-up plan is very important. Aligning talent attraction, for example, is one of our material sustainability topics. And the reason for that is, of course, we are completely dependent on recruiting a lot of good talents, for example.
Thank you very much, Andreas, for sharing your experience, your challenges, your openness, and that leads me actually to Nicole. Are you there, Nicole?
Hello. Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. You were head of people sustainability at Nordea, right? The largest financial services group in the Nordic region and one of the biggest banks in Europe. In what kind of situations might the goals of people sustainability and environmental sustainability come into conflict? Andreas was already bringing some of these potential conflicts or challenges in integrating environmental sustainability or sustainability goals into the business strategy, and you bring this people sustainability perspective. Would be lovely to hear your perceptions on that.
Yeah, and people sustainability is relatively new. So it is basically working with the social dimensions as well as the workforce. Just to explain real quickly, I would say if we talk about it from a macro perspective, and a great question, Monica, more often than not, environmental sustainability and people sustainability goals come into conflict. It is important to always consider that sustainability goals or sustainability in general is a balance of environmental, social, and economical factors, whether you're in an individual or a corporation or a government institution. It's always that balance of those three areas. And for example, if you're pushing for the transition to low carbon or environmentally sustainable economy, it's important to broaden those considerations in the decision making, as opposed to remaining hyper-focused on the environmental impact, which is often one of the biggest arguments that we have here is that, oh, if we don't have a planet, we don't have anything. But I mean, the planet will be fine without humans. It'll be flourishing. So that's not really the case here. The case is trying to balance those three aspects. And, European countries, I should just say, like working for a bank and looking at all the macro aspects and the investments and the profitability and the GDPs of all the countries, European countries are taking a huge economic hit in profit loss on green transition and the cost of, impacts on businesses with the tightened legislation. It is what it is. And we need to face that. So why don't we start asking ourselves more important questions? And this is how we start to resolve it. If we were to look at, for instance, what are the impacts on society and economic sustainability, both short-term and long-term? Can the sustainable businesses that are coming into play sustain themselves without government subsidies, without continuous investments? Is the infrastructure right for these companies to thrive? And with that said, is the infrastructure even in place for circular economy, for example, and other ventures to actually be profitable? Are the other countries outside of Europe and this region aligned in investing? Because if we're taking these huge economic chances, what are the other regions doing? Are we remaining competitive in that perspective? There's a lot of great innovations in Germany and in the Nordics around energy and batteries. But can we compete with China's manufacturing? These are huge questions. The most effective way to approach these conflicting goals is through game theoretic principle to achieve a favorable balance of outcome. And this is because there will always be trade-offs. I think that's my answer to resolving is to look at it from balancing those three areas and consider, really fundamental game theoretic principle when making these decisions for the best possible outcome.
Thanks, Nicole. What would that mean in practice, people sustainability? How could that concretely impact or bring a positive impact to the organizational culture? And could you give us maybe an example of?
Yeah, of course. There's a concept by the United Nations called just transition. So it talks about the pressures on the workforce and communities in the green transition. Let's say that you have made this amazing innovation that becomes lean manufacturing. Unfortunately, you lose 10,000 jobs, right, in the community. So what are the impacts there? Can you upskill people? Can you, is now a whole skill set lost or saturated in the market? These are things that we should be discussing. And this is why, people sustainability is a huge factor there because you're talking about the workforce. You can't expect people to make good decisions on the environment if their basic needs aren't met. And it's people who are going to help push the environment into a better situation. So we always have to consider what kind of skills are needed, which in the sustainability field are lacking very much. How are we upskilling these people at scale and fast enough? There needs to be a plan both from the government and the private sector when dealing with this discrepancy in sustainable skills and competency and the need and demand for them out there in the world.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing this innovative concept. We know people, we know sustainability, but people sustainability is a very interesting way of integrating the social sustainability aspect into impacts on people on just transition. So very interesting insight. Thank you very much. That leads me to Victoria. Are you there, Victoria?
Yes, hello, Monica. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, good. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. You bring again a completely different perspective to our discussions, being Chief of Sustainability and Strategic Engagement at the Epicenter Group of companies, Ukraine's largest retail network. And from your perspective, from your leadership role, how do you think sustainability leaders should approach and prioritize their goals during periods of economic or geopolitical challenges like the ones you're facing in the Ukraine right now?
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you again, Monica. So yes, I think for the past, it's been almost 3 years. We came through lots of challenges and complications and difficulties. So we had the opportunity, I mean, that's still an opportunity, to learn how to navigate sustainability in this complex environment. And I think what is important to focus on that we need to understand that this kind of situation, we operate in a war environment for almost 3 years. But a part of difficulties, it also brought us a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities mean to actually understand and feel and see in practice how important it is to follow sustainability goals. So I will share a little bit more in details. For example, one of the most important things that I would say, it's focus on core sustainability objectives. So we still need to stick to our to our strategy, to our long-term goals. And but what we should do in these circumstances is to prioritize resilience. And it says that, okay, here is a bigger picture, we don't forget about it, but here is something that has to be done right now. So for example, at Epicenter, during the past 2 years, we installed more than 20,000 solar panels, and we cover already 30% of our electricity need with renewable energy. That was our strategy even before the war, but the war actually pushed us to do it even faster and showed us the need, with all the power cuts that we constantly have, showed us the need that we actually go in the right direction, and we took the right decision when we decided to start this initiative. Then also, because, for example, in Ukraine now, the market for electric vehicles, there is a bigger demand for electric vehicles. And our business was developing in a way that we correspond to the needs of our community. And then there's a need to have charging stations for electric vehicles. So we started to build them on our parking lots. And this allows us to build and support and promote the green mobility all around the country. So certain necessities that came with the circumstances pushed by war still helps us to promote the green mobility and contribute to a bit greener future in our country. What else I would like to highlight, that what is important in these circumstances is, a part of remembering about big picture. Also, we need to adapt to the current realities, and we need to be flexible with our targets. Maybe we need to know when and how to redefine short-term milestones so it can reflect the current realities and the current need. And of course, we need to remember about scenario planning. That's actually the circumstances when the data and all analysis, all analytics that can be done is very useful. For example, a part of retail in our group, we have also agriculture company. And in our agriculture company, we introduced the precision farming technologies. So this allows us to optimize resources and use them more efficiently and adapt to a disrupted supply chain. Because of course, in these circumstances, the whole supply chain, especially at the beginning of the war, it was very, very uncertain, very disrupted. Then also, what I mean by this, for example, what we started to do since the war began, we introduced even more, even higher usage of recyclable materials all over our operations. So we use equipment that is produced from recyclable materials. We use recyclable materials in construction. We promote circular economy. And these practices allow us to focus on resources and to use them wisely and efficiently. Then I think what also is important to remember is the power of partnerships and collaborations. And during the challenging times, it's I would say it's even more important because in certain circumstances, it doesn't matter how great you are, how big you are, but if couple of businesses, if government, business, NGOs, the more stakeholders are coming together to fulfill certain initiatives, the more successful it is on all levels. So I would say that it's important to remember that it's important to foster the cross-sector partnerships and collaboration with government, as I said, with NGOs, with businesses from your industry, with businesses from other industries. And also it's important to remember the focus on community. For example, in what we are doing, all our business is built on responding to the need of community, as I said earlier. So for us, it's important to also invest back in our community, to invest in the community well-being and keep the trust and support that we have with our customers. Here, I can give you one example. Since already before the war, we started to partner with the Real Madrid Foundation and created the first sports school in Ukraine for the children from disadvantaged backgrounds. Today, we have 7 schools like this in Ukraine. And when the war started with our partners, usually the focus is only on children, but because of our long partnerships, we came to agreement that we also should help internally displaced people. And thanks to that, we were able to support thousands of people that had to flee their homes. I can talk a lot about all this, and I also give a lot of examples, but maybe just I will add another point that I think is very important. It's important, transparency is important in all circumstances, but in a challenging environment like a conflict environment or economic crisis environment, transparency and communication with all stakeholders involved is even more important, because it's important that your partners, your stakeholders, your customers, they all know what's happening, where you stand, what initiatives you implement, and what is the progress. This helps everyone to stay on the same page. In our case, we are the member of UN Global Compact Network in Ukraine. So we report regularly on our initiatives and impact done by these initiatives according to Sustainable Development Goals. And I think that's the main points I would like to highlight. So if I sum up, it will be, yes, localize your action plan. Remember about the big picture. Stick to your strategy, but be flexible enough to reflect today's reality and foster partnerships to overcome the challenges that are created by the circumstances.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Great insights. And my main takeaway from what you shared is the opportunity perspective, where many times we hear that sustainability is a luxury, it's something to be done on top, but you showed through your examples and practices that it can bring a lot of business opportunities, even in very adverse contexts like the one that you are facing in the Ukraine right now. So thank you so much for your inputs, and I would then invite Aline to continue, bringing again a different perspective. Are you there, Aline, with us?
Yes, I am.
Welcome, and thank you so much for joining our conversation today. So, Aline, you're based in Spain, right?
Well, right now, yes, I'm based in Portugal, but yes, I do come to Spain a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so you are Chief Sustainability Officer and Chair of ESG Board at Aziza. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, a healthcare sector leader in Spain. And you're also the CEO of a health tech startup that improves performance and of operations in medical centers, ENIACs. So it would be really interesting to hear about your perspective on how corporations and startups can collaborate in terms of reaching sustainability efforts and goals.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for, being here and listening to us. It's really interesting. I was looking at the chat of people, that were, many of them actually are founders of startups. So all my support there. So regarding sustainability and startups, I really do believe we need to bring the startup vision into sustainability, because sustainability is all about transformation. As Victoria was saying before, you need a lot of partnerships, and partnerships don't come without friction. So if we have the corporate vision, we're probably going to go nowhere regarding sustainability, right? Because you just need to have everything perfect. Whilst when you're starting up something, you realize that you need to know very well where the problem is, where the pain is, and just go for the minimum viable product to see if you can resolve it. From our experience in the I think a little bit more than 2 years, we've been developing the sustainability strategy. This vision has certainly helped us. First of all, because as you have to be able to understand everyone's perspective, even within the same company, you need to learn to speak the language, because you need the buy-in. So that's, having the perspective of not only looking at your focus and focusing on what you need to do, but also on the needs of the rest is super helpful. And then also just setting, the proof of concepts, the small pilots that allow you to quickly test. Otherwise, well, those of you that come from large corporations know that any project might take 2-3 years, and we don't have time to take 2-3 years, right? So in that sense, that is the startup vision. But also, nowadays we have learned that we tend to go, well, as large corporations, of course, we tend to go to the large corporations to look for solutions. So we might go to Cisco or to Microsoft, whilst they probably don't have the expertise in what you really need. So as an example, we realized, Aziza is a large healthcare group, right? So we have 2.5 million policyholders and 18 hospitals, 50 medical centers, and I don't know, a bunch of nearly 80 dental offices. So it's pretty big and it's pretty wide, labs, everything. But we wanted to work in the insurance, because and I'm sure that this is something that comes, when we're talking about sustainability and especially circular economy, we always tend to focus on product, like you were explaining in the beginning, Patagonia, everyone looks at Patagonia. Yeah, that's great, but not everyone is Patagonia. So when you go to services, it's a little bit more complex. So we actually wanted to create a sustainable service product, which is an insurance, right? And for that, we could have, we probably would have been able to allocate the budget to go with McKinsey or PricewaterhouseCoopers, but we decided to pull up a pool of different small startups that were experts in each of the things that we needed. So we had a small startup doing an LCA analysis for us. We had another small startup that was helping us with the communication between the policyholders and the insurance company, and this allowed us to reduce far more the budget than would have been expected to be super fast because these startups just really want to get things done. And then in between, it was really funny because we created this ecosystem with just one small project. Just to give you an example, we've done this quite a few times, but with this just one small project, we realized that it had been created an ecosystem where these startups have partnered to go to other projects. Because the problem is that when you only sell one thing, right, you might not be able to serve a large project like the one we were expecting. So you can actually have a few of them that do different things, but together would work like a big consultancy firm, just specialized, and that are able to deliver probably a much better service because they are focused on that, and then maybe someone that does everything, right? So if and I'm conscious that we don't have a lot of time, so I don't really want to take more, but just to give you this whole overview, it's first of all, sustainability, at least through corporations, is transformation, a lot of digital transformation. So you really need to be able to have the startup vision, and definitely, even though it takes a little bit more time in the sourcing, it's definitely worth it to look for specialized services, distributors in whatever you need. And if you don't have the whole service, it's better to look at 2 or 3 and make them work together. And I tell you, the outcome is going to be really impressive.
Great insight. Thank you so much, Aline, for bringing this ecosystem perspective to sustainability, and thank you also, Victoria, Nicole, and Andreas, for guiding us through so many different spaces in this sustainability arena. And I'm aware that we are ahead of our time, and so I guess I will pass the floor back to Adam or Michael. I don't know.
Yeah, I can go first. Well, great, guys. Great to see so many comments in the chat. I did do a poll earlier, so I'm going to just reveal the results. So I asked, what's your job title? So we actually have a lot of founders here naturally, as we're Startup Network Europe, but we also have a lot of corporate CEOs, VPs, sustainability experts, managers. So it's a good mix of people here today, innovation in big and small companies. And also I asked, where is everybody from? So here we go. Share results, big mix again. Germany, 18%, the biggest country, but we also have people from Switzerland, UK, all over the world, really, which is great to see. But yeah, let's go ahead with the last part of the event. Michael, if you'd like to go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much, Adam. Hi all, my name is Michael. I'm actually co-heading the executive education at our center together with Monica here in St. Gallen. We are happy to see so many of you basically attending this seminar. That's really amazing. And I think what we can summarize to a certain extent is that there is still an ongoing need to drive sustainability forward in your organization. And therefore, we basically created here at the University of St. Gallen some sustainability executive education programs that I'd like to touch upon in a second. So let me quickly share the screen with you. All right, I hope you see that. So, right. So just a quick remark for all the founder and startup guys among you, please stay within the next 3 minutes. There'll be some interesting information on a conference we are hosting next year here that might be of interest for you. But first of all, let's have a look at our core product. That's basically our certified program called Leading the Sustainability Transformation. That's an English program consisting of 15 days in 4 modules. There are 3 in presence here in St. Gallen, respectively, in the beautiful region of Appenzell nearby, which is, by the way, a very famous region. So you may know the famous Appenzeller cheese, which is from the same region. This seminar is actually designed for all the senior leaders and also managers among you, especially those that already have some initial job experience in the field of sustainability, enabling you to, let's say, better address sustainability within your organization and also integrate it strategically into your company. So you will get a deep dive within this program revolving around topics such as sustainability strategy, also sustainability metrics and supply chain mastery, which is of big concern recently, sustainable business model innovation, and also some leadership skills. And what makes this particular program unique to a certain extent is the fact that you may also choose between certain impact accelerators depending on your individual job background and also interest, be it circular economies, sustainable service industries, or sustainable smart cities. Now, the next cohort is starting already in April 25. We are already well booked, so better be fast to apply for the remaining spots. Also, feel free to scan the QR code. Besides that, our entry-level program is a German-speaking management of sustainability and ESG in companies. That's also a program designed for senior leaders, managers across industries wanting to get a compact 4-day dive into the topic of sustainability management, covering topics such as corporate sustainability governance and also purpose, mastering the complexity of sustainability reporting, which is an ongoing topic in all organizations. And we also place some particular highlight on providing you with communication skills needed to spread sustainability internally in your companies, but also skills needed to convince your external stakeholders, be it suppliers, customers, to drive sustainability forward. And a special thing about this program is that it contains also a finance track, so designed for all the salespeople among you coming from financial industry. So it's all about the consequences of MiFID regulation, which is a big deal in financial industry, but also about designing sustainable financial products and communicating them accordingly to your customers. The next cohort is starting already in November 25. So once again, feel free to scan the QR code in case the seminar is interesting for you, also for your, let's say, colleagues or subordinates being new in a sustainability-related job. And finally, a fantastic opportunity for all the C-level among you. There were quite some, as we saw. Our German-speaking program of sustainability as a transformative success factor that we've designed together with the well-known family business Hilti, headquartered in the Principality of Liechtenstein. This program consists of 3.5 days in 2 modules that take place on the one hand here at the University of St. Gallen and on the other hand at the headquarters of Hilti in Liechtenstein. And content-wise, you will basically learn how to create and implement a corporate sustainability strategy, taking into account the multiple stakeholders that your company is facing. And based on the St. Gallen management model, which is basically the framework, you will get a holistic perspective on all the strategic aspects of sustainability that actually lead to strategic competitive advantages that you and your companies are actually looking for. And finally, please save the date for our core family business event here at the University of St. Gallen, our Family Business Impact Conference taking place on June 5th and 6th. It's actually the biggest family business conference here at the University of St. Gallen and probably also in Switzerland. At the same time, it's actually the only one tying family business to topics such as sustainability, innovation, and impact. So if you want to get more information on this, or if you want to join, feel free to scan the QR code with my contact details. And a special thing about next year's conference is our topic, Family Firms Meet Startups. So the highlight is that we will also have a startup fair at our conference. So if you are working for a startup, wanting to have a booth in order to present your startup, your products, your services, your business models at our conference, please reach out. We're happy to welcome you here in St. Gallen. Thanks so much. And Monica, I think stage is yours.
Great, Monica. Go.
Adam.
Yes, or
It's
me,
Adam's
or
turn.
me.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
sorry. I would give it back to Adam because I'm aware we're ahead of time here.
No, you guys did a really, really good job at finishing on time. Well done. Yeah, so everybody, thank you for attending. That was 1 hour of great content. Thanks most of all to the panelists who volunteered. I'm very grateful to you. Thanks for St. Gallen for making it possible. And we will do a lot more sustainability events next year online and also in person. So thank you. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Let's
very
stay in
much.
contact and collaboration for sustainability.
Cheers,
Thanks
guys.
so much. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye.